The autumn wind swept through the parking lot with unexpected force, carrying with it the scent of rain and fallen leaves. For Sarah Mitchell, that single gust of wind would become the catalyst for a moment that would restore her faith in humanity, and change two lives forever. She had been standing outside the grocery store, arms laden with paper bags that threatened to tear at any moment, when it happened. The wind came from nowhere, fierce and sudden, lifting the hem of her sundress high above her knees. Sarah's face flushed crimson as she struggled to hold down her dress while simultaneously trying not to drop the groceries. Her hands fumbled uselessly, unable to manage both tasks at once, and she felt the hot sting of embarrassment wash over her as other shoppers passed by, some glancing away, others pretending not to notice. But one person did notice. And what he did next would become the talk of the entire community. Marcus Thompson was having one of those days where nothing seemed to go right. His 6-year-old daughter, Emma, had woken up with a fever that morning, forcing him to miss work for the third time that month. The medical bills were piling up, his car was making a concerning rattling noise, and he'd just discovered that the store was out of the specific brand of juice Emma would actually drink when she was sick. As a single father working 2 jobs to make ends meet, Marcus was perpetually exhausted, running on coffee and determination. He was loading his own meager groceries into his beat-up sedan when he noticed the woman struggling across the parking lot. At first, he saw only her predicament with the bags. Then the wind came, and he watched as embarrassment and helplessness crossed her face in rapid succession. Marcus saw other people nearby, a teenage boy scrolling on his phone, an elderly couple slowly making their way to their car, a woman in business attire talking loudly on her cell phone. None of them moved to help. Without hesitation, Marcus abandoned his grocery bags on the hood of his car and ran toward Sarah. But he didn't do what she expected. He didn't stare, didn't laugh, didn't pull out his phone to record like so many people might have in this age of viral videos and instant social media fame. Instead, Marcus quickly removed his jacket, his only jacket, the worn denim one that had seen him through 3 winters, and held it up in front of Sarah like a shield, blocking the view of anyone who might be watching. His eyes never dropped from her face. "I've got you," he said simply, his voice calm and reassuring. "Take your time." Sarah felt tears spring to her eyes, though whether from relief or gratitude, she couldn't tell. With Marcus providing cover, she was able to adjust her dress and regain her composure. He then bent down and gathered the groceries she'd dropped in her struggle, never once making her feel small or foolish for her situation. "Thank you," Sarah managed to say, her voice thick with emotion. "I don't know what I would have done if—" "No need to explain," Marcus interrupted gently, handing her the bags. "We all have moments. I'm just glad I could help." As he turned to walk away, Sarah noticed the thinness of his shirt, saw the patches on his jeans, observed the weariness in his eyes that she recognized all too well. She noticed something else too. In his grocery bag, she could see the bare essentials: children's medicine, a small container of soup, crackers, and little else. "Wait," she called out. Marcus turned back, and for the first time, she really looked at him. He had kind eyes, the kind that had seen hardship but hadn't hardened because of it. "Please, let me at least buy you a coffee or something. It's the least I can do." Marcus smiled, but shook his head. "Really, it's fine. I need to get home to my daughter. She's sick, and the babysitter needs to leave." That's when Sarah saw the whole picture: the rushed shopping trip, the minimal groceries, the exhaustion etched into every line of his face. This wasn't a man with resources to spare. He'd given her his jacket, his time, his dignity-preserving kindness, and he had so little to give. "Then let me help you," Sarah insisted. Something in her tone made Marcus pause. "Please. You helped me when I needed it most, not just with the practical things, but with kindness when I was vulnerable. Let me do something for you." What Marcus didn't know was that Sarah Mitchell wasn't just any struggling shopper. She was the director of human resources at one of the largest companies in the city, a position she'd worked her way up to after years of single motherhood herself. She understood the exhaustion, the constant juggling, the weight of trying to be everything to a child who'd already lost so much. After some gentle persuasion, Marcus shared his story. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, leaving him to raise Emma alone. He was working as a night security guard and doing landscaping during the day, cobbling together enough to keep them afloat, but barely. Emma's recent health issues had put them further behind, and he was terrified of losing his jobs due to the absences. Sarah listened with a racing heart. She'd been praying for a sign, for a way to help someone the way she'd been helped years ago when her own husband had left her alone with a baby. She'd been struggling in a grocery store parking lot too, though her crisis had been different: a flat tire, a screaming infant, and not enough money for both the repair and formula. A stranger had helped her that day, had paid for her tire to be fixed and handed her $100 with no expectation of repayment. "Pass it forward someday," the woman had said. Sarah had never forgotten. Now, 15 years later, she had the means to pass it forward in a meaningful way. "Marcus," she said slowly, "my company is hiring for several positions: security management, facilities coordination. The pay is good, the hours are reasonable, and there's health insurance." "Real health insurance?" Marcus stared at her, afraid to hope. "I don't have much education beyond high school." "You have something better," Sarah replied. "You have character. You have integrity. You saw someone in need and you helped without thinking about what you'd get in return. That's the kind of person I want working for my company. That's the kind of person I want my employees to see as an example." 3 weeks later, Marcus Thompson started his new job with full benefits, a salary that meant he only needed one job instead of two, and health insurance that covered Emma's medical needs completely. But the story didn't end there. Someone had witnessed Marcus's act of kindness that day in the parking lot. They'd posted about it on social media, not with photos or video, but with words that captured the beauty of his selfless gesture. The post went viral, touching hearts across the country. People began sharing their own stories of unexpected kindness, creating a wave of compassion that rippled outward. Sarah and Marcus became unlikely friends, their families bonding over dinners and holidays. Emma and Sarah's teenage son became close, and Sarah often remarked that she'd gained an extended family from that one windy day in a parking lot. But perhaps the most profound impact was the simplest one. Marcus's example reminded everyone who heard the story that kindness costs nothing but means everything. That in a world obsessed with capturing and sharing every moment for clicks and likes, some moments are sacred, and the truest. Character is revealed not in what we record, but in what we do when we think no one is watching. The wind lifted her dress that day, but what Marcus lifted was so much more valuable. He lifted her dignity, her faith in humanity, and ultimately, through the opportunities that followed, he lifted his own family out of struggle. All because he chose kindness when he could have chosen indifference. In the end, the shocking thing wasn't just what Marcus did, it was the reminder that we all have the power to change someone's life with a simple act of human decency. We just have to choose to do it.